What are you doing in my swamp?
Hello everybody, this is Ogre Boy, and I'm going to be doing my review for the 2014 movie X-Men Days of Future Past. So, this movie is directed by Bryan Singer, who returns to the franchise for the first time since X2 in 2003. And in this movie, the older version of the X-Men from the original X-Men trilogy send Wolverine back in time to meet with the younger versions of Charles Xavier and Magneto and try to stop Mystique from killing this weapon scientist who creates these things called Sentinels that will destroy humankind and mutant kind in the future. So they're trying to stop her from assassinating this person. And everything. This is one of the movies in the franchise that everybody loves. Like I know a lot of people say this is the best movie in the franchise, and for the longest time I didn't really see it. I always thought this movie was kind of overrated, and everything. It's not terrible or anything, it just was, to me, I thought it was overrated, but I watched the Rogue Cut for the very first time today, which has like almost 20 minutes of added stuff into it, and those 20 minutes really fixed the movie up so well that I actually understand now why people love this movie so much. Like it really, to me, the Rogue Cut is even better than the original. They just really it really adds on to the story. It's little scenes here and there, just little things that make it a little bit better, and to me it worked. Like there's additional scene where Mystique goes into the X Mansion and destroys Cerebral so that Professor X can't track her down and stuff, which I thought was kind of cool. And then you get the stuff with Rogue, who was pretty much cut out of the movie. That's why it's called the Rogue Cut, which is a little bit cringy, but at the same time it kind of suits the movie too. There's a little subplot with her where Kitty Pryde gets hurt while when Wolverine has this big freak out, so Iceman, Magneto, and Professor X go and save Rogue from these who's being experimented on and stuff in Cerebral. And there's an awesome scene there. Like, you get some really cool action with Ian McKellen's Magneto in that scene. I love that moment and everything. And like it's like going back and forth between him and Michael Fassbender's Magneto. Just, I love it. One of my favorite moments. And that's one of the things that I didn't like about the theatrical cut, is it seemed like they didn't have a lot to do with Magneto in the theatrical cut. This one gives him more to do, like the Ian McKellen's version, which I love, because I love both versions of that character and everything. I do wish that they would have found a way to have a scene where both versions meet. I think that would have been awesome, but it's okay. Still, just getting to see Ian McKellen's version in action again after all these years was great, and it's like experiencing this movie for the first time all over again and everything. I really loved it this time. In fact, it's now one of my the Rogue Cut version of this movie is one of my favorite movies in the X-Men franchise, and it has bumped it up a lot in my ranking, like a lot. But I really loved this movie, and I also think it's James McAvoy's best performance is Charles Xavier. He's great in all of the movies, but he's especially great in this one. Like, even in the theatrical version, I always said that his performance was amazing in this movie. Like, he just does such a great job, and you get that really awesome scene where his version and Patrick Stewart's version kind of have this little connection, and they talk for a minute. Just one of the best scenes in the movie. I absolutely love that moment, and all of the cast are once again great. There are some things that I didn't like a lot of the characters who were side characters on the original X-Men team side there's a few new ones that don't have any development. They're just kind of there to try to stall the Sentinels and stuff because Jean and Scott aren't there anymore. And that kind of sucks, but aside from that, you get some really good moments, and I love the chemistry between Hugh Jackman and the cast. Like, he works really good with both Patrick Stewart and James McAvoy. Like, their chemistry is great, and like it just works so well, and I love that about this movie. And the action is really good in here, and the visual effects in the road cut are way better than they are in the theatrical cut. From what I remember, the CGI was a lot worse. In this one, it's done a lot better, and the Sentinels and look a lot better in this version. I will say that was one of the big pluses too. But I just really enjoyed this movie and everything, and it's really entertaining. Like I said, the original version was not terrible. I just thought it was a little overrated because of how overhyped I was when I saw the movie and everything. Hearing so much about it, I was really overhyped on it and was disappointed with it, but I never hated it, thought it was a bad movie or anything. It just wasn't one of my favorite X-Men movies, and the road cut really changed that. And I will say Jennifer Lawrence was pretty good as Mystique in this one too. This was the last time she was good as Mystique. She was pretty good in First Class as well, but the other two X-Men movies that she was in, especially Dark Phoenix, you could tell she was just really over it, not wanting to be in any more of the X-Men movies. She kind of got herself stuck into being in the last one, which I'll talk more about that when I get to that one. But this, I gotta say, she was pretty good in here too, and it's a really entertaining movie. It's almost 2.5 hours, and it flies by fast. Like the pacing is a lot better in this version, and it's a longer version and stuff. But I just really liked how different it was, and to me, it just made the story better and everything. You got really great performances, and it's a fun movie. It's still not my most favorite X-Men movie, but it's definitely a lot higher now. It's actually one of my favorite X-Men movies now after seeing this version, and I probably won't ever watch the theatrical version again and everything, just because I like this version so much more. And everything. I think the added stuff really added to the story and made it work better and everything. And the score is done by John Altman, who also did the score for X2, and I love that too, because he does such a great job doing the scores for these movies, and he did a really great job with this one too, and everything. So I'd say I'd give X-Men Days of Future Past, if I'm going by the theatrical version, I'd say I'd give it an 8 out of 10, because I did think it was a good movie, a solid, good time, but it wasn't as good as a lot of people said it was. But the road cut, I'd give it a 9.5 out of 10. To me, it's just a really big step up from the theatrical version, and it felt like I was watching a brand new X-Men movie and everything, because it just feels so different and everything. And I just really enjoyed this one this time. I don't know what it is. I think it's just the added stuff really helped the story for it. But yeah, so anyway, let me know in the comments what you think of X-Men Days of Future Past, and I hope you enjoyed this video, and have a good day, everybody.